I stepped into conference room C on the third floor of Vanguard Logistics Regional Hub, just outside Chicago. The one with the buzzing overhead light that no one ever fixed despite 3 maintenance tickets. They were already seated. Laura from HR with her practiced sympathetic smile stretched thin like old rubber. And my manager Mike leaning back in his chair like this was just another Tuesday check-in. No one offered me a seat. I stood there in the doorway for a beat, letting the awkwardness settle. The faint smell of stale coffee and printer toner hanging in the air. Laura cleared her throat. Avery, we've been reviewing your recent activity. Your pattern of formal escalations has been disruptive to team dynamics. Leadership believes it's undermining our collaborative culture. Her voice was soft, almost apologetic, but the words landed heavy. I waited, feeling the pulse in my temples quicken. Mike scratched at his beard, avoiding my eyes. It's not about whether the issues were valid, Laura continued, folding her hands neatly. It's the frequency. 37 reports in half a year. That's not partnership, it's creating friction. 39, I corrected quietly, my voice even. Everyone followed failed internal discussions. Several crossed into clear OSHA territory, forklift traffic lanes blocked repeatedly. Exposed wiring near loading docks. Temps handling hazardous materials without proper certification. Silence stretched. Laura's smile twitched. Mike finally spoke, his tone flat and distant. We've decided it's best to part ways. Effective immediately. No warning. No final review. Just gone. I didn't shout. I didn't beg or accuse. That would have handed them the story they wanted. Unstable employee. Poor fit. Instead, I reached into my bag, pulled out the plain manila folder I'd carried every day for months, and said simply, "Understood." I turned and walked out with the same measured pace I'd used every morning for 3 years. My badge beeped red at the exit gate. By the time I reached my car, my work email was locked. Slack profile, gone. SharePoint folders reassigned to System Administrator. At home, the folder lay open on my kitchen table under the harsh overhead light. 39 printed escalations. 72 email threads with red receipts. Handwritten notes from supervisors acknowledging problems then doing nothing. Photos of the south loading dock after a pallet spill that nearly caused a forklift rollover. Payroll records showing drivers misclassified as contractors to skip overtime and benefits. A March anomaly where 6 warehouse temps lost insurance coverage due to improper I-9 handling. Each page timestamped, cross-referenced. Printed the morning after every ignored response. Not for revenge. Not even for court, at least not then. Just proof that I'd followed every rule they claimed to value. The betrayal didn't hit like a wave. It crept in slow, expected after so many months of silence. I'd flagged the same broken pallet jack causing wrist strains week after week in the overnight shift. Submitted clean reports with timestamps. Photos. Medical logs. The first vanished from the risk system hours after submission. The second, resent with screenshots, went unanswered. Then a worker dislocated his shoulder trying to muscle a load with that same equipment. Elena, a coordinator, whispered the details to me from the break room phone. They told him not to report it. Said it would slow claims. I told her to send what she had. That was the thread that started unraveling everything. I didn't start screaming or suing that day. Anger would come later, sharp and cold. For now, there was only stillness and a decision. I made a clean copy of the folder, stripped identifiers, sealed it in a plain envelope with no return address, and mailed it to Tyler, the quiet 22-year-old warehouse temp whose older brother had nearly lost fingers to a stacking violation I'd flagged months earlier. No note. Just the truth. 68 pages thick. Let them decide what silence could do when it finally spoke. 3 months before that final meeting. The patterns had already become impossible to ignore. The overnight shift log showed recurring wrist strains at Dock 4, same task, same faulty equipment, same 3 workers rotating through the pain. I cross-checked time cards, incident reports, clinic visits, bullet point report submitted at 9:07 a.m. through the official channel. Receipt confirmed. By afternoon, the entry was gone from the system. Not resolved. Erased. I tried again, attaching the original confirmation screenshot, copied to Mike, legal, and regional ops. Polite. Professional. No emotion. Silence. A week later, the shoulder dislocation happened exactly as predicted. Elena's call came during her lunch break from a bathroom stall. Avery. He fell hard. They said don't file. Insurance will drag. 5 words from me. Send me everything. Once I pulled that thread, the rest followed. Missing I-9 forms for nearly 30 temps. Drivers logged as 1099 contractors despite full-time routes and company trucks. Payroll slicing overtime into performance bonuses to avoid federal thresholds. One driver hit 74 hours in a week and still received straight time. I escalated every instance through proper channels. Every time. Nothing. No acknowledgement. No correction. Like shouting into fog. Then the memo arrived. I documented 6 employees shorted overtime over 8 weeks. Time cards. Stubs. Policy excerpts attached. Submitted through risk flag. System glitched. So emailed directly. 2 days later. Payroll review. Do not forward. Laura's note warned against circulating sensitive material that may be misinterpreted. Misinterpreted. The word burned. Not wrong. Not incomplete. Just inconveniently accurate. That day something shifted inside me. I stopped expecting the system to self-correct. I started building the folder. 2 copies of everything. Digital timestamped backups on an encrypted offsite drive. Printed sets sorted by category, safety violations, payroll irregularities, ignored escalations, executive non-responses. I didn't rage. I got methodical. Each ignored report became a new entry. Gated. Labeled. Resubmitted after deletion. No reply after 14 days. The folder became my structure. My witness when official records vanished. Emails about the failing south exit door lock disappeared from my sent folder 4 days after sending. Meeting notes rewritten to exclude my concerns. Distribution lists quietly dropped me after certain flags. Phrases like, as discussed offline, started appearing in threads about unregistered forklift operators. I began BCCing everything to a private encrypted address I'd set up years ago. Exported threads to PDF. Printed to PDF. Labeled meticulously. Stored in the locked bottom drawer. Laura once appeared at my office door smiling like a concerned aunt. Avery. Can't locate the Q2 hazard matrix in shared drive. Any idea? I smiled back. Must be a glitch. I'll resend. I did, along with 3 other missing documents I'd originally filed. All confirmed delivered. All later gone. The deletions were surgical. Meeting invites vanished. Follow-ups rerouted. Reality quietly rewritten around me. The terror wasn't surveillance. It was the slow realization that someone was curating the official story, and I was being edited out. I kept building. 41 PDFs by month end. 84 the next. Screenshots of disappearing emails. Side-by-side comparisons showing gaps in threads. I woke at 4 a.m. Labeling files with precision. 2024. W12 Doc 5 alignment redacted. PDF. Payroll misclass JB thread disappeared confirmed. PNG. The folder wasn't paranoia. It was scaffolding for the moment I knew was coming. Tyler leaned against the vending machine one early morning, the hallway lights still cold and humming. He didn't look up as I approached. "You saved my brother's hand," he said quietly. The loading zone configuration I'd flagged, stacked cages too close to the ramp, had nearly cost his brother 4 stitches and a tendon. Supervisor told him to man up. No report filed. I asked why no one documented it. Tyler shrugged. "They said paperwork just slows things."
He met my eyes.
"They're going to scapegoat you." Avery. All this documentation, Mike called it weaponizing compliance in a meeting. I laughed once.
Sharp.
Funny how reading the policy manual became the problem. He warned me to stop or hide better. I told him the firing was inevitable. They'd already rewritten notes, cut me from lists, even created a memo with my name on concerns I'd never raised. Tyler looked panicked. "What are you going to do?" I glanced at the folder in my hand. Today's printouts marked in margins. "Stay quiet when they fire me. Let them close the door. Then decide what gets opened." He asked if I'd ever share the files. Someone has to know what really happened. That landed deep. Not to fix everything. Just to know. I nodded. Maybe one day. The silence grew surgical. Termination was extraction, no exit interview. No summary. No acknowledgement. Badge deactivated at the gate.
Files reassigned.
Slack account erased, as if I'd never existed. But pressure finds seams. 2 weeks later, Elena texted from a burner. Photo of a break room sign deferring overtime until further notice. Questions scribbled below. I didn't reply. I knew the backlog was building without my weekly flags. 3 weeks post-termination. A temp clipped a pallet stack at Dock 5. Load fell. Shattered crates. Broke a collarbone. Ambulance delayed 26 minutes because the 911 address hadn't been updated. Local news picked it up. Union reps from another local started asking questions. Burner emails arrived. "Heard you flagged this before. Any records left?" I didn't answer directly. Instead, I remembered Cameron No. In this telling, the sharp HR intern from the previous summer who quietly asked about I-9 audit trails because he wanted to understand the rules. I printed a redacted essentials version, timestamped reports, payroll trails, annotated safety photos, the do not forward memo, stripped names, metadata, mailed plain brown envelope to the address Elena had mentioned in passing. No note. Just the sticker that said enough. Elena Martinez left a voicemail at a mid-tier labor law firm on Chicago's West Side. Rough voice. Cautious. Injured at Vanguard loading dock. Claim denied. Remembered Avery Quinn from compliance who always had receipts. Led attorney Morgan Kane listen twice. Then called Elena directly. Elena explained the plain envelope that arrived days after denial. No return address. Meticulous manila folder inside. Time-stamped escalations. Payroll breakdowns. Slack captures. Red-stamped memos. Morgan asked to scan. Elena had already digitized. When Morgan opened the first PDF, the room went quiet. Page after page of ignored violations. Patterns documented over years. Executive silence made visible. The firm mobilized. Subpoenas drafted. War room opened. Elena became ignition. Morgan told her partner. Paralegal. Investigator. Whoever compiled this didn't want revenge. They wanted the truth somewhere it couldn't be deleted. Internal chatter at Vanguard cracked. Deposition notices arrived during lunch breaks. Payroll staff served. Legal saw the complaint. Martinez v. Vanguard Logistics LLC. Someone in HR whispered. Does anyone know where Avery Quinn is? Deposition walls were thin. Rumors spread faster than freight. Former temps, analysts, even a manager who'd taken severance spoke under oath. Same story. Avery flagged loading zones 6 times. Emails disappeared. She warned everyone. No one listened. Slack channels locked. Admin access revoked. PR consultants arrived with tone compliance reviews. Irony thick enough to choke on. An internal memo leaked. Legacy employee Quinn's archival submissions appear root of exposure chain. PR statement followed. Committed to transparency. Protocols exceed standards. But more depositions scheduled, including Tyler's. Tyler sat in the room. Microphone ready. She said they'd fire her. I told her they'd scapegoat her. She said they'd close the door, then decide what got opened. When asked if she kept records, she didn't keep records. She kept proof. I sat third row back. Left side. Behind a column in the federal courtroom. Not to hide exactly. Just to watch without being the focus. The strategy was receipts, not testimony. Morgan Kane stood before the jury. Voice steady. Clicking through exhibits 2 stories tall on the projector. Exhibit 62, Safety Escalation on Dock 5. March 17th. Acknowledged then ignored. Email chain showing Laura's will review. Keep between us. Months of silence. Next, scanned incident report. Same dock. Same injury. Jury shifted. Murmurs. Payroll anomalies followed. Time card discrepancies. Misclassified bonuses, suppressing overtime. Objection overruled. The HR thread shattered the room. Subject. Escalation ignored, employee bleeding. My words from 2:13 a.m. After the third buried incident. This is the third time. Blood on the loading zone floor. If no action, this will happen again. Projected large. Audible gasp. No spin possible. Jane Laura in this telling stared at her notepad, never turning. Recess came. The case shifted from single injury to systemic suppression. Morgan glanced back once. A subtle nod of recognition. I stayed until the room emptied. No interviews. No celebration. Closing. Morgan asked the jury as people who understand being ignored when right. Who thinks Avery was the problem? Objection sustained. But the moment landed. Jurors looked.
They saw.
Verdict brought settlement. Liability confirmed. Restitution structured. Headlines. Fired compliance specialist documentation dismantles defense. The woman they erased became the archive. They got facts mostly right. Left out the folder's quiet dignity. Left out Tyler. Left out Elena's hug after everyone else left brief. Tight. Closure. I walked out the side exit into daylight. Unseen but finally heard. The lobby ticker read my name correctly. The pressure valve was gone. But truth had split the seam wide open. What lingered wasn't triumph exactly. But the heavy question, how many companies still rewrite reality around the people trying to keep it honest? And how long until the next folder forces them to stop? The silence after the gavel wasn't empty anymore. It carried every page I'd saved.